Have you ever heard of a slanting fine liner fluid writer? Because I'm going to use this to apply masking fluid around the inside edge of this lovely long-tailed tip bird. So let's give it a try and see how well this works, shall we? So the first thing you need to do is think, well, how are you going to get the masking fluid into that little reservoir there? So let's grab some masking fluid. Alright, so I've got some here. And my water dropper, not my syringe. Either one will do though. I'm going to drop this directly into here. But do it over the top of the area where you don't mind the masking fluid being. Because I want to paint a background on this. I don't want any of this masking fluid within the background area. Just lifting some of that out with my dropper. Oh, that's sweet, I spilled some. I'm filling that in. It's not too difficult looking at it. But even so, you've got to be careful with it. So that little bit there, once that's dry, that'll just lift off anyway. So I'll have a cocktail stick to one side. And if we can get this going, let's see if it works. Come on, you can do it. If it doesn't start, what you need to do is undo the handle. And underneath, there's a wire just inside lot. And all you got to do, poke it through that hole, make sure it's clear, and start again. Okay. That'll do. I've probably about half filled it there. And let's see if that starts to come out. Ah, there we go. Ah, we're off now. Very carefully. Just using, I'll put that back on there so I've got a longer handle. Just gentle motion. I'm not trying to press on too hard either here. And because I want to get some fine feathers coming away from the body, I mean very fine feathers, what I can do with that is get my cocktail stick. Try not to tilt this though, because if you do, it'll spill everywhere, won't it? Just flick out a few fine lines here and there to do that with. But so far it's working quite well, you know. And this is my first ever try with something like this. On camera, I know. So it's going to give us some ideas on how to apply it. I think I'm trying to do it fairly swiftly because if I just hang about too long, I have a feeling it could just start to pool up at the bottom of that little nozzle there. If it does that, then I know, just from guessing really, they will start to leave large amounts of masking fluid on the paper. I don't really want that because, you know, I want to make sure it's thin enough so it dries quicker. The thicker the masking fluid, the longer it takes to dry when you apply it to the paper like this. If you wanted to paint something like whiskers or something like that, what's a bit of dark paper, you could do, but I do think it's a little bit too thick, that line there, look. And this will obviously depend on the thickness that we've got that masking fluid too. Obviously masking fluids will vary in the consistency, so you have to remember that as well. So some might run through the little nozzle on the end here really quickly, while others just take their good old time. And others might not even go through it. So if you get that situation, then what I suggest you do, very lightly water some of that masking fluid down. So take it out of your masking fluid pot, put it into the lid, you know, I've got a very messy looking lid here, and then just add a touch of water to it, and then pour it into there, okay? One thing you must always do though at the end of this, I've already sort of guessed this, is wash it out thoroughly. Because we know, if you use masking fluid on a regular basis, that masking fluid can dry really quickly. And if it dries within that nib there, yes, we've got a little pin inside the handle to clean it out. But also, it can be dry inside that reservoir as well. So bear that in mind, you know, what I suggest you do, just be very careful not to leave it to stand for too long when you're not using it. And once you're finished using it, empty it back out, preferably back into your masking fluid pot before it starts to dry again. And then give it a really good wash out. The same applies to your little eyedropper or anything that you use to fill this up with. Let's just try working on these legs there. Look. There's one fine line, a fine-ish line, it's not too bad. I'd prefer it if it came out that nozzle slower to give me a finer line than this. Because sometimes I need very, very fine lines for the paintings I do. From working on whiskers for an animal, or anything bigger than that, or highlights within an eye. I would prefer a narrower line than this. But to be honest with you, I think this would work quite well, you know. For the first try, I'm actually very impressed with this. Because normally I would use a ruling pen, a drawing pen, or an old sized zero brush to apply masking fluid with. But when you got something like this, there's no need, is there? No. No, there you go. I think that should about do that. So pour that back in there. Grab some water. I've already got some colour in this one, so bear with. And then give that a really good rinse out. Okay, really good rinse out. Then wipe it off camera on some kitchen roll. Then what you need to do is make sure there's nothing left on that barrel. There's a little bit left inside there as well, so you want to scrape that out as well. Then get your little pin, and then, you ready? Slide that right inside there, look at that first time, just like threading a needle. Then give that little nozzle there a good clean out. You just have to make sure that when you hold it vertically, so like that, literally down the camera there as you can see. But if you go from a profile view, that sort of angle, you don't want to tilt it or anything like that. Keep it nice and level all the time. At least then it won't spill out of the top of that onto your painting, which you don't want it to do. Now I know there's many ways of applying masking fluid to a painting, and I use quite a few of them. How would you apply masking fluid? Let me know in the comments down below, will you? I'd like to hear from you. Now, if you want to learn a little bit more about masking fluid, have a look at the link to the top right hand corner of the screen. I'll see you there.